There's a huge advantage in fintech if you've actually worked in financial services, if you understand the challenges that bankers face. I don't think it's necessarily that you roll out of college and start up a financial technology company in the morning. I think that's problematic.
I couldn't even imagine starting a business like this without experience. And we had quite a lot of experience before we did this. And even then it's challenging. So I think experience is important, but get the right experience.
Go work for a traditional bank and actually spend a couple of years in a real bank in an institutional format. Not only gives you the institutional experience, but often we underestimate how excellent training grounds and investment banks are.
You learn the things you don't want, you learn the grueling nights working on Excel sheets. You learn having to do a million presentations at once and juggle many different things.
Get some experience. I would recommend that experience be in another startup. So join another fintech company you admire. Get a few years experience under your belt, learn the regulation, learn the competition, learn the technology, most important, learn what customers want, and then take the step to do your own business.
When you're working in financial services, you get to understand what are the challenges that you're facing in your role or your company is facing day to day. And I think that's where a lot of fintech ideas come from.
The second thing I think is knowing the difference between what's cool and kind of what makes money. Some ideas may sound fantastic, but it may be very difficult to monetize.
Try to find a solution to make money as soon as possible, because only money talking.
Yeah, the other thing I would say is that I see a lot of people, particularly coming from industries like finance, who are perfectionists and they want to build the most perfect thing in the world before they put it to the market. You have to learn to flip that on its head and say, no, actually, try and build something as quickly as possible, rapidly prototype it, and then figure out if the demand is there.
Identify something small, a niche, solve one problem and do it really, really well.
You need to work very hard and very fast and make sure that you're the best and the fastest out there.
It is difficult for a startup that does not have an established brand and have a strong track record to establish trust. Trust has to be earned, and I think trust has to be earned with time. So you've got to be in the market, you've got to be committed to the market, maybe with investment, so just showing the market that you're advertising and building your brand and you're here to stay.
Banks have historically had is that you can feel a sense of trust with your money. How does fintech work in that space to kind of create a level of trust for people coming in with their money?
Those are real challenges that I think any fintech company is going to encounter, whether it's a consumer business or whether it's a B2B business. If you're a brand that nobody knows, your untested technology, getting that trust is critical.
I think most fintech companies think global from the outset.
You can be based in Hong Kong, or in San Fran, or in London, but you have to face global.
The beauty of it is whether you're targeting the unbanked, of which there's a huge swathe across the world, or targeting the underbanked, or those with existing bank accounts, or whatever it might be, you're talking about a population size that is vast. It's not like a small little startup that's focused on one tiny little vertical. I think the opportunity is huge, so that's quite exciting in itself.
It's a very, very difficult industry.
I think certainly some people tend to underestimate the amount of hard work it can be. It can be very stressful, it can be quite scary.
There's a lot of humps and bumps and difficulties.
Fortunately for us, we were rather naive 2 years ago and didn't think it was going to be this much of a challenge.
It's a hard business, to be honest, very competitive.
I think it's also very important to make sure you have some sort of cash balance, because being an entrepreneur is very difficult, and there can be times when you need to give yourself a break. And everybody's human, people need to recharge. People like a battery, you have to recharge at some stage. So just make sure that you have some sort of a buffer there that you can always give 100% at your work.
I would say there's only one way to get going, is just to do it.
The best is to come and to kick off your company and see how it goes. If you really enjoy fintech, if you really believe that this is something that you want to do, then I'm sure you'll be able to succeed.
It's incredibly fulfilling, very motivating, and it's also just fun,
It's great fun, and it's so rewarding in the smallest of ways so often that it makes it all worthwhile.